Hey guys, I am back and we are looking over, Anime's looking over all the debris that has came out of this Holiday Rambler trailer that is being rebuilt. Now, I've got a technique I'm going to use that you probably have never heard of. And the new wheel came in. I'll put a link down there if you all want to know where to get these wheels, because matching wheels is very difficult. So those are from E-Trailer, and I picked those up. Now, out here we have, and I'm going to show y'all some close-ups, and you're going to learn some damage issues. Down here, there's a slight bow. You can see it there, where that section of frame is sitting on the metal and not the wood. And again, over here, it is setting. This one's probably more drastic. You see that. And you see all the tear out. Now, a significant amount of rot had occurred, and this one, because this Holiday Rambler, poor thing, was built in Indiana, it did not get the love that one built in Oregon or other places would have got. So they used OSB. So it's okay. We will figure a way around, and I have figured a way around. So you can see here, it is rotted. Now the bad thing is that the OSB, let me show you a little example here. There's an outrigger coming off the frame. And here is the frame over here. But there's outriggers that come off of the frame, and that is what is supporting the outer edge of the wall. So you have your outrigger going out, you have your OSB on top of it, and then your 2x2s on top of that. This one here, unusual for a Holiday Rambler, which we suspected that it would have some aluminum in it. Typically they have aluminum, like in this frame section here, and then they'll have it on around that, and then they'll have it in all the corners, aluminum, box with tabs for where you put the wood, like I built the Thor trailer. But this one did not. This is an unusual Holiday Rambler in my book. Now, I'm sure people out there's got one and it's similar, but it was a much cheaper made Holiday Rambler. This is your budget Rambler. It's a Ramblerette. And unlike the Ramblerette I had in the past, this one is just cheap as hell. So what we've decided to do, you see all the rotten damage. This wasn't going to be an easy job. And since it's not going to go back to being a trailer, the cost of doing this is well worth it. But look up in here. Look up in here. That used to be a big header wall. See that going across? So, and that doesn't matter because we're going to be framing down from up here all the way down to down here. And that one's in good shape. So all of this is severely damaged. Now the base of this is actually salvageable. It looks bad, but that's actually not rotted out. So what we're doing is we're going to be using 1x3s that when we put the new floor in underneath, we'll go all the way down and hit the new floor, and there'll be a piece of angle at the bottom, and we'll go all the way up to the top, and then 1x3s will go all the way across. This will all be heavily tied together with metal brackets and everything else. So what we've got here is a trailer that has got severe rot out, and you're wondering, how is he going to fix that? Because there is blown in insulation underneath that is the foam. It's actually spray foam attached to the bottom of this stuff, and it is solid. Hope you can hear that. But everywhere on this outer edge is not. So from the beam, the trailer's frame, out is gone. It's just totally gone. The whole trailer could literally just drop. Like, just drop. It wouldn't take much for it to do that. But the walls are intact. They are sound. And the ceiling is actually very sound. I walked all over it. Couldn't find a weak spot in it except for this one right here. That's it. This one where it goes across somewhere in here there's damage, but we're going to put a 1x6 across here and support it. Now, the 1x6s and 1x4s that go across here, and 1x3s where it's easy to do, they'll have a piece of paneling attaching to them also, and foam, 3/4 inch foam between each section that goes through here. What we're going to do is we're going to put 4 layers of 3/4 plywood in the floor that span the width of the frame. Then we're going to take our 2 Harbor Freight jacks, make an H frame, and go up to the ceiling and put us 2x6s across 3 times, and then we're going to jack up from the inside. In other words, we're going to push down on the floor and up on the roof and lift. Removing all the outside panels, we'll be able to remove the screws, and it's just screws. I'll show you the screws here that go into them, about probably 60 of them that just go down into the OSB. Now, being that the OSB is rotted, the carriage bolts that are in the OSB going to the outriggers every 16 inches, they'll just rip through. We're not worried too much about them. But we're going to cut the floor back to the beam using a saw on top of it, and then we're going to reattach regular real 3/4 plywood that'll be treated on the back, waterproofed, going out, and then drop the walls back down on it. Square them up and screw them back down. The whole trailer will be done that way. We will literally have this trailer body floating off of its foundation, and it can do that. So, giving you an idea, and you can see up in here, it's very structural. There's 2x3s. Actually, it starts out with a 2x4, and they've actually shaved them down, so there's a slight taper. So you have 2x4s out here and 2x3 by the time you get to the outer edge of the wall. And the cool part about that is that you see the way these are let in, those joists are coming down, the ceiling joists are coming down, and they've got lags that go in the center of these, and then regular screws going in the center of these, and end screws. And this here is a double 2x2, one here and one above, that the edge of that goes into with a metal rim that's screwed in also. So the outer edge of this roof in here, this whole section here is just super strong, believe it or not. So this is our biggest problem. You can see where the wood has rotted, it has sunk, you see? But the outer boards are still good, the outer wall. There's a few places, like right here, where we'll have to replace that from there down. And that won't be hard because we're going to take off, in the process of doing all this, we'll be taking off the lower panel. And since the panels are put in from top to bottom, that's not hard to do. And all these lower panels here, they just go in 9 inches to the frame, and they're riveted. They'll screw loose and just drop, so we can access everything around the rim. So what do y'all think about it? The trailer, you see that panel there? They'll just drop. So the trailer is going to have its entire body from the inside floor raised up, and then the whole outer rim will be replaced with 3/4 plywood to the center of the beam, and I'll also put in pieces of 1.5 angle to add additional strength on this side of the frame and over there on that side of the frame. Add that angle to it to give a better lip for that wood to attach to, and we'll even probably put in more outriggers, because once it's open we can weld in more. And this trailer will, with just parts and scraps I have laying around, it will get finished out into a machine shop. So I've got many tools it needs to be strong enough to hold. Those 2 big rolling toolboxes, drill presses, all kinds of cabinets. Not the rolling table, that thing weighs 1,000 pounds. But we're going to rebuild it into a mobile workshop, because I install a lot of solar panel arrays, lots of them, and I'm doing more and more of it, and wind turbines. And this is going to be used as a mobile job site. So there you go, guys. Just giving y'all an update. This trailer came out to have very good windows. We don't need all the windows because we don't need the burglar issues. So I've got 4 more of these like this out of another Rambler, and that's the only windows that will be in it. There'll be 1 in the door and one in each wall in the proper places that would be good for it. And I have more of this metal, so by the time we're done, it'll look as well as it performs. All right, so y'all look forward to it. That's an update on the Holiday Rambler gut out. You can see it has been gutted out. Look forward to the work, and I'll show you how you can take any average travel trailer and do this with it, but you're not going to turn it back into a travel trailer very easy unless you like building your own cabinets. But if you gut them all out, you can raise them and rebuild the floor without having to do a whole lot of work. This isn't going to be that intensive. All right, guys.